Yes, hello guys. Hope you're doing fine wherever you're watching me from. Today, I want to talk about US citizenship as one of the benefits of joining US military. So, I know with the current situation here in the US about immigration issues, there is high demand among permanent residents, especially those who've stayed for more than 5 years to become US citizens. And maybe somebody may ask, why is it the case? So, today with this video, I try to answer that and also try to differentiate between a permanent resident and a US citizen. Now, normally, for one to become a US citizen, this person, he or she must be born here in the US. You can get citizenship through path. And then also you can get citizenship through naturalization. So for a permanent resident to become a US citizen, he or she must have stayed in the US for more than 5 years. So it's basically 4 years. And then when there is three months to 5 years, a permanent resident can apply to become a US citizen by filling Form N400. That's the normal step for permanent residents or green card holders to become US citizens. Alternatively, when you join US military like me, uh, military will expedite your citizenship. And that's how I found myself. I came through green card, uh, diversity visa lottery. I got my green card, and then I joined US military. I joined US Air Force, which is normally 7.5 weeks training. And on the third week, I became a US citizen. So ilikuwa inaenda hivi. Nikienlist, waliuliza, they asked, who among you wants to become a US citizen? I raised my hand. Now, I was not alone. So many others raised their hands. Yes, and we decided to start our citizenship journey. It's like this. Inside basic military training, there is a USIS office which is embedded there. And depending on the squadron you join, for my case, I joined 22nd Squadron, which was good. They were able to fast track our citizenship. Whenever we had appointments, they would always prioritize citizenship appointments. So kama unaingia military, let's say you are a permanent resident here in the US, na unataka kuingia military, make sure wakiuliza wangapi wanataka kuwa citizens, raise your hand. Now, yes, raise your hand. Usijifiche. If you hide yourself, they may not even know that you want to become a US citizen. So, one thing about US Air Force, they are able to fast track your citizenship. I don't know about other branches. I've heard, okay, there is a friend of mine who joined US Navy and his citizenship took almost 1 year. I know with the Army, it's about, you can become a US citizen in months. But to US Air Force, you become a US citizen in weeks. That's the beauty of joining US Air Force. But specifically, if you can join any branch of the military, I guarantee you that you will become a US citizen. Yep. Utakuwa raia. And then after now becoming a US citizen, you will be required now, you'll be given the certificate of naturalization. First of all, you are not paying anything. It's free service for service members. So after getting the certificate of naturalization, you will be required to apply for a passport. And maybe somebody may ask, what about the dependents? Yes, what about the family? First and foremost, if you are married, your children will automatically become US citizens. Yes, that's the beauty of it. Your children will become US citizens. So what you only need to do is that you apply for them passports. And then also, ukiwa na pesa, if you have money, you can also fill N600 and apply for them certificate of citizenship. That certificate may be needed. Maybe some institution may need them whenever they are trying to verify your citizenship status. Yes, so you can choose to get them passports or apply for them what? Certificate of citizenship, which is about, I think it's about 1,000 US dollars. Yes, in a cost money. How about the spouse? And when I say the spouse, it can be a wife, it can be a husband. For a spouse now, uh, this spouse can become a US citizen after 3 years. It's no longer now 5 years. It comes down to 3 years. And maybe somebody, and as I say, hey, spouses wanaonewa. That's not the issue, but eventually atakuwa US citizen. Now, for others, najua kwa wengine, if you choose to go the long route, let's say you don't want to join US military, you just stay here in the US for 5 years and then you apply for, you go to the website, USIS website, and you fill N400. You want to become a US citizen. You will need to answer questions, 100 questions. Okay, you'll be given 100 questions and they will ask about 10 questions. If you get 6 right, you pass the test and you'll be sworn in as US citizen. Now, the question of dual nationality. Kenya, for my case, do accept, it is in the constitution, they do accept a dual citizenship. I know for some countries such as TZ or Tanzania, they may not accept dual citizenship. So it will be up to you now to decide whether you want to renounce your home country citizenship and accept US citizenship. Now, let's go to the differences now. Yes, let's start with the differences. And kabla sijasema the differences, when now getting, after receiving the certificate of naturalization, karibu ni sawa hii, you have to surrender your green card. Once again, nimesema hivi, for one to become a citizen, you must be a permanent resident or a green card holder. I know this one normally confuses people. A permanent resident is not the same as a citizen. A permanent resident is a green card holder with limited rights. Let's start with the citizen. A citizen is a person who has full legal membership in a country, either by birth or through naturalization. Rights. This citizen can vote in a national, state, or local elections, while a permanent resident cannot vote. A citizen can hold public office, except for specific role like what? A US president, which requires being a natural born citizen. And a citizen has access to all public what? Benefits, including those restricted to citizens. You see? Like, for example, some federal jobs or financial aid. Remember, even while joining US military, there are some jobs as a permanent resident you will not get because of security clearance. There are some jobs which requires top secret security clearances, and these are preserved for the citizens. Yes. So federal jobs, zingine za top clearance are given to citizens, but not a permanent resident. Now, a citizen cannot be deported from the country. Even if the citizen indulges in what? Criminal activities, he or she may be jailed or fined, but cannot be deported. I think that's the main difference between a permanent resident and a US citizen. And that's why it is recommended that after staying for 5 years here in the US as a permanent resident, it's wise to apply for naturalization to become a US citizen. Or if you want to fast track, join US military, and you get that in a shorter time. Now, a citizen can apply for a passport from the country, allowing full international travel rights. So remember, who you permanent resident, I'm a green card holder, Always he apply for a US passport. Even when this permanent resident or green card holder is traveling abroad, he or she will use his home country passport. So Pado was still attached to his home country, which obviously that passport of his home country, his or her home country, are in more privileges like a US passport. So unaona sasa US citizen akona passport, green card holder and a passport. Responsibilities. A citizen must serve on jury if called upon, must pay taxes on global income. Wherever this citizen is, at Akiwa, wherever, in some countries, this person must pay taxes. May have mandatory military service in countries that require it. So this citizen, let me say this. Sometimes for citizens, let's say in situation of war or what, the citizens are required to what? To take arms and defend the country against all enemies, foreign and domestic. I like to say that. By the way, that's how we swear in the military. Against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Okay. Permanent resident. Wacha tuangalie permanent resident. Permanent resident, a person authorized to live and work in the US without full citizenship right. In the US, this is called green card holder. Yes. It's called green card holder. Yes. So wale wenye muna confuse a permanent resident with a citizen because of the word permanent, stop it. Yes, akona limited rights, can live and work everywhere in the country, can access some benefits such as healthcare and education, can travel internationally but with using his or a what home country passport. It's only while entering US now ndio ataonyeshana hiyo green card. This permanent resident, while coming back to US, let's say from a trip abroad, will not apply for a visa to come to the US or will not go to the embassy for interviews. No, just direct. Okay. Must renew, a permanent resident must renew residency card periodically. 10 years, for example, in the US. I know there is a green card, a conditional green card for 2 years, but most of the time, if it's about diversity visa lottery or green card, yeah, especially diversity visa lottery, it's a 10-year green card and you have to renew. But it doesn't make sense to renew. I think you should just apply for naturalization. That's my opinion. And when you get certificate of naturalization, you'll have to surrender your green card. You cannot be having two. Okay, a permanent resident or a green card holder, let's say when this person is moving from one state or from one location to another, from one address to another, a permanent resident must always report to USIS the changes in the address, while the citizen will not be required to do that. Permanent resident, it's at least 10 days after moving, must notify USIS and so forth. Okay. This same permanent resident must pay tax and within the country. A citizen will pay taxes, yes, but also will also pay taxes in outside the country. So if I have maybe international businesses, maybe in Kenya, I'll have to pay taxes. While a permanent resident will only pay taxes and here in the US. Okay. A permanent resident cannot vote in elections or hold certain government jobs. If you are found to have voted in an election as a permanent resident, you may be deported. Yes, there was a case of a lady who was deported for what? Violating this regulation. Okay, immigration rights now for a permanent resident. can sponsor only limited family members, maybe spouse and married children. And it takes time. A permanent resident can be deported. So yeah, and that's why with the current situation, if you've lived here in the US for more than 5 years, I think it's high time you think and apply for naturalization. Mm. Yes, there is a story whereby there is a video I posted on Facebook, and then about immigration, and then somebody said, "Okay, sasa nyinyi prepare somebody to pick you people at, the what at the airport." I know so many people are so ignorant about this. A citizen like me cannot be deported. What this government is only after is illegal immigrants, undocumented immigrants. This government is not targeting US citizens or permanent residents, or even students. It's not even targeting students who are who have maintained their status, or those who have work permit. No, those who enter this country illegally, or those who've overstayed their visa. So the ignorant man, mwenyali, and I wish mabaya. And I don't know why some people in Kenya, let me tell you this, clap for others. And then when it is your turn, people will clap for you. Don't wish others bad. Hata wenye hawana makaratasi hapa US, don't just wish them bad. You are stupid. Let me say this because you are wicked. You are just wicked because you are wishing others bad. Even me as a citizen, I cannot wish those who have no documentation or papers to be deported. No, no, I'm not praying for them. No, I'm wishing them well. I'm wishing them God's protection. Lakini we hapo Kenya, hujaienda hata Nairobi, umeanza, you don't even understand between the differences between a permanent resident, an undocumented immigrant, illegal immigrant, and a US citizen. You don't get it. We are here to stay. Now, key differences. Let me summarize this. Citizen can vote. Voting rights. Citizen can vote. Permanent resident cannot vote. Deportation. Citizen cannot be deported. A permanent resident, yes, under certain conditions. It's not always the case, but under certain conditions. Maybe you violated the constitution, you have criminal record, and then yeah, you've shown disloyalty, and then also maybe you've overstayed outside the US, and then until you've lost your status. And that's why for green card holders, you should not stay, I think, more than, I think, let me check, more than 6 months outside the US. Yes, unless you apply for a parole if you want to overstay. Duration of status. Citizen is permanent. So the word permanent now belongs to citizen. A permanent resident is indefinite but requires renewal. Now, sponsorship for family. A citizen can sponsor broad number of people, maybe spouse, children, parents, and siblings, and they are given priority. A permanent resident, limited, can sponsor spouse and unmarried children. A permanent resident cannot even sponsor his or her parents, but a citizen can petition for his or her parents or siblings. That's the main difference. So if I want to petition for my siblings, as long as there is that connection, I can do that. If I want to petition for my father, my family, father, mother, I can do that. But a permanent resident cannot petition for his father and mother or siblings. It's only the spouse and children. Passport. A citizen will have the passport of the country. Permanent resident will not have the passport. It's only travel documents. Will only have what? His home country passport. then plus the green card for re-entry. Yes, so those are the major differences between a permanent resident and the US citizen. Yeah, the reason I made this video is because I've realized that so many people are confusing, especially when it is said permanent resident and then there is a green card. They are not the same. They are not the same system. In summary, a citizen has the full legal and political rights of, of the country or in the US, while a permanent resident has the right to live, work, but with limited rights and privileges. Permanent residents often seek to become citizens through naturalization for the added benefits and security. So, if you are in the US, what do you think? Is it worth it to become naturalized and become US citizens? Is it not? Yes. CG, how about your country? Is it legal within from your constitution to be a dual citizen, or will you have what to renounce your citizenship, your home country's citizenship? So it will be up to you now to decide. So, and that's why I encourage people when they, especially young people, when they immigrate to the US, please join US military so that your citizenship can be expedited. Thank you so much, and God bless you. Sijui kama nimesahau anything. If I have forgotten anything, put it on the comment section. Uniuliza maswali. Sasa mi ni UN citizen. So, wenye walikuwa na hiyo swali, now you know. Thank you so much, and God bless you. Bye-bye.